How's your meditation practice going? You know, I've taught meditation to hundreds of people, at least hundreds of people, throughout the years. And, you know, a lot of people have read about meditation. A lot of people have heard talks about meditation, been to workshops, retreats. And then a lot of people, even though they've done all that, you ask them, well, how's your meditation going? Oh, they're not doing it. Relate to that? Well, that's why I'm speaking on this topic today. It's how to make meditation a habit. Not just, yeah, I've read about meditation, I know it's good for me and all that, but how to actually make it something that you look forward to, that you do on a regular basis. Sound good? Let's do a little basic review of meditation first, all right? Then I'm going to go in and give you some practical hints for making it a habit. First of all, meditation, and this can be applied to all kinds of meditations. There are many meditation techniques on the planet, and what I'm going to tell you now is a general one that works very well. First of all, we have the phase of relaxation, sitting comfortably. You want to be sitting in a chair if that's comfortable for you. If you like sitting on the ground, that's fine, but you don't have to sit on the ground, you know. You don't have to sit cross-legged. I mean, that's not something that we do a lot of in the West. That's something that's been done more in the East. So instead of soaring into bliss, you're wondering if you ever walk again. We don't want to do that. Find a chair that is comfortable. Sit upright in that chair so your energy can flow up, and relax your body. You know, we carry tension around in our body. We're not even aware of it. So taking a nice, long, deep breath, tensing every muscle in your body, throwing your breath out, and letting your body relax is very effective. You can send thoughts to each part of your body, relax and let go, starting from your feet, moving up to the top of your head, so that you're sitting comfortably and you're relaxed. Now, it's ideal to have an upright spine when you are meditating. If I like to sit with my back away from the chair so that it keeps me awake, it keeps me focused. I used to sit with my back against a chair, and I would start having all these images come to mind. I was moving into subconsciousness. You don't want to move into subconsciousness. You want to move into superconsciousness. That place between the eyebrows, point between the eyebrows, is the seat of superconsciousness. You want your energy to be able to begin to merge into that space, and so it helps to sit upright. If you need to put a pillow behind your back to help you, great. Take some deep breaths. Take some deep breaths to cleanse out the carbon from the system to help you relax. So that's the first phase, relaxation, sitting comfortably. And then the next phase is concentration. Our minds are scattered all over the place, right? And meditation is to help begin to focus the mind so it's not so scattered. And these days, with cell phones and getting texts and emails and phone messages and YouTube videos and all the different things that can attract our attention, man, are people scattered today. And so meditation can be a great way to train our concentration, to keep bringing our attention back. You hear people go, oh, I know it, meditation, it's emptying your mind. That person doesn't meditate. Yeah, you can't empty your mind if it's not already empty. You can't just make your mind blank. That's not how it works. You got to focus your mind. You focus your mind, and then you enter moments of stillness. But you don't make your mind blank. You focus your mind. You concentrate it. I read that in ancient India, when people would take an elephant, ride an elephant through town, something we all like to do periodically, ride an elephant through town, the elephants with their trunks would start, messing with the people's food that they've set up in the town, and they start exploring stuff. They get distracted. They're interested in all that. I love elephants. And so what did they do? They say, hey, we got to keep these elephants focused. So they would give them a stick. And now, instead of the elephant looking around trying to get into everything, now it walks proudly down the street with its stick held up in the air. We need a stick for our mind. So in concentration, the phase of concentration, one stick that we can focus on is our breathing. It's always with you, thank goodness. It's always with you. It's free, and you can just simply feel the breath moving in and out of your nasal passages. If that's difficult, just feel the rise and fall of your chest, and then move to the nasal passages. And when your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the breathing. You can notice your thoughts, notice whatever's going on. Don't condemn yourself for that. Now, I've had people go, oh, I can't meditate. My mind was active the whole time. I just can't do it. Everybody's mind is like that until you train it, until you learn to keep bringing your attention back to the breathing. Your mind wanders, what's for dinner? Bring it back to the breathing. Mind wanders, when is he going to shut up and move on? Bring it back to the breathing. And then that's how you concentrate your mind. And it's very powerful. Like a lamp in a room scatters light all over the place, right? But a laser focuses that energy. And when it focuses that energy, it can cut through steel. Well, we're taking the rays of our consciousness and we're focusing it. We're not forcing it. We're coaxing it. We're bringing it back, bringing it back, bringing it back, bringing it back. Like, what good is that? You're developing concentration for one, and two, you're focusing your mind so that as you do that, your heart starts to open. What is meditation? It's when the mind is still and the heart is open. That's what happens as you begin to focus your mind and attention on the breathing. I like to throw in an affirmation too. After you've watched your breathing for a little bit, then add some kind of mantra or affirmation. When your breath flows in, mentally think the words, I am. When your breath flows out, mentally think the word spirit. Or if you want to use a different word or a different mantra, do that. It doesn't matter. The key is you're focusing on something. You're using your breath, I am. The breath goes out, spirit. Keep the same words, and then just keep bringing your mind back to your focus. And that's the phase of concentration. And when you do that, what happens? Your mind becomes calmer and calmer and calmer. Even if it's wandering all over the place, you're going to get calmer and calmer and calmer as you do that. And as time goes on, you're going to get better and better at this. You're going to get better and better. It'll be to the point, well, Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, he could just go right into meditation. He just right into it. And you'll be able to meditate anywhere. You'll be able to go right into it in a moment as you train your mind. So the third phase of meditation is what we call expansion. Expansion. It's when you are, okay, you've focused, you've relaxed your body, you've focused your mind, and now you've watched your breathing, the affirmation for a little while. Then what? Then you let all that go, and you, let's use a Catholic term, you have inner communion. All right? You are now focusing on what has been awakened inside of you. Your mind is calm enough now that you can begin to experience those inner realms. Jesus said, when you pray, go into your inner chamber and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. Well, now that you are in that inner chamber, because your mind's starting to quiet down, you've shut the door, you've relaxed your body, you've quieted your senses. Now, what are you feeling in your heart? What feelings have emerged? We're not talking about emotions. We're talking about feelings. There might be joy, love, light. You might see light. You might hear inner sounds. You might feel love. You might feel a sense of power. You just might feel an inner well-being. Be with that for a little while. Let it, try to blend with it. See, by really feeling it, you start to merge with those feelings. And you might, for a moment, find that you go somewhere. You know, it feels like, oh, where was I for that moment? Well, in unity, we say, you entered the silence. You entered the silence, and that's a very powerful place. When you enter the silence, now you have merged and you have been open and receptive to God speaking inside of you. You heard book of John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word, the creative power, is released inside of you. And so you can do other things during that time. You can say an affirmation. You can do visualization. You can talk to God. You can pray for others. You know, there's a lot of things you can do in that stillness. So that's the basics of meditation. Relaxation, sitting comfortably, concentrating the mind, and then expansion. Why is it called expansion? Because ultimately you lose yourself in the awareness of spirit, and in the ideal, you move beyond the body. You are aware of your oneness with spirit, which is omnipresence. The great sage Yogananda said, the kingdom of God is knowing in every cell that you are now one with the kingdom of God. So that's kind of a goal to move in the direction of, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment. So that's the basic phases. Now I want to talk to you about making it a habit. How do you make it a habit? Well, first of all, you got to understand, why do you want to do meditation? Why do you want to meditate? The why is a great motivator when we're clear about why to do it. Why should I meditate? Well, because you should meditate. Yeah, but why? Why should I meditate? Oh, because lots of people meditate. Yeah, but why me? Those aren't good reasons. There are lots of reasons for health, right? All you got to do is Google benefits of meditation, and now there's lots of research that shows how good it is for you, physically, mentally, emotionally. I want to talk more about the spiritual aspect of it, which is in metaphysics, metaphysicians, spiritual people, talk about life is consciousness. Life is consciousness. What does that mean? It means that we tend to attract to ourselves, law of attraction, we tend to attract to ourselves our consciousness. And we tend to interpret life to see others, to see experiences from our consciousness, right? And we want to experience more of this inner kingdom of God within us so that that consciousness will attract into our life. That consciousness will project, we'll see that into the world around us. See, so our whole life is consciousness. So what if you begin your day with a consciousness of God? What if you begin and end your day with a consciousness of joy, of light, of love, of wisdom, experiencing the divine activity, divine flow inside of you? What kind of world is that going to create for you? See, isn't that a great way to begin your day? Oh, I don't have time to meditate. You don't have time not to meditate. You don't want chaos and harmony, stress, and a bunch of other crazy stuff manifesting. You want to let whatever's right and perfect for you and your life unfold and manifest. See, so that's one reason. Another very powerful reason is you want to remain in that witness state, what we call this, the Buddhists call the seat of self. That's where you are observing your mind, your emotions, your body, you're observing life. You're not caught up in the drama of everything. You're not caught up into your anger where you are the anger. You ever gotten angry and you just got so caught up in it, and then when you came out of it, you're like, wow, man, I lost myself in that. I was the anger. People do that all the time. They are the anger. They are the fear, the anxiety, and all that, instead of being the witness to it. I mean, when you're in the witness state, you can feel anger, you can feel sadness, you can feel anything, and yet a part of you is aware of it. You're seated in the witness state, you see, and that puts us in tune with the divine flow, and that enables us to enjoy it and to heal all the junk that's stored inside of us. See, because that's what happens. We get angry and we live it out, and now you have created what the Buddhists call a samskara. You bury that inside of you. It needs to come out and be healed. When you're in the witness state, it can flow through you and be healed and not create more junk to bury inside of you. So those are a couple of kind of important things on the spiritual journey, to have an experience of silence and meditation. Hey, if you're able to stay in the witness state all the time, great. I'd like to hear your talk. Give me that's wonderful. But meditation helps you develop the witness state, because you're constantly, when you relax your body, you realize I'm not my body. I'm the one relaxing my body. When you start to focus your mind, you realize, oh, I'm not these thoughts. I'm not my mind. Because now you're training your mind. See, that develops and cultivates the witness state inside of you. And so that you can do it when you're not meditating, so that you can be in that state in the rest of your life. So know the why you want to meditate. And then here's some tips and tricks. And that is hacks, I think we call them these days, right? Have a place in your home that is just for meditation. All right? Yeah, you can meditate everywhere. I've meditated in the subway. I've meditated on a bus. I've meditated in airplanes. I've meditated everywhere, practically. But now we're talking about making it a habit in your home. Find a corner of a bedroom or another room, someplace in your home that's all you do, because it builds up like a vibration. When you go into that corner or wherever it is in your home and you sit down to meditate, everything in you says, this is what we do in this spot, right? This is what we do here. Everything has a vibration. You go to a bar, it has a vibration. When you go into a bar, what do people do? They drink, they laugh, they talk, whatever. They get depressed sometimes. There's all kinds of whatever. It has its own vibration. A synagogue, a church, a temple where people are sincere has a vibration. Movie theater. Your meditation space will have its own vibration. Have a chair there, or a meditation bench, or a blanket, or whatever it is you sit on, and that's what you do in that space. So when you go there, you feel it's like, okay, here we go. It's time to meditate. So have a special place. You can set up an altar in that, say, corner of your home. You can have an altar where on the altar you can put pictures, you can put a candle. Candle's very powerful. When you light a candle, there's something about fire that's centering. I like to use a scented candle. You've heard of people burning incense. Why do they do that? Because you begin to anchor those fragrances with your meditation time. Let's say you have a deep meditation. You come out of it, you feel joy, you feel peace, and now you're smelling the candle or incense. That lighting of the candle or the incense automatically triggers what you experienced in the past. You see, it supports you in getting still and quiet. So have a candle, Some people put flowers on their altar. You can put uplifting pictures of maybe saints or sages or people that inspire you, or maybe a rock that you found or a shell in on a beach at a peaceful time in your life, or maybe you went to a special place somewhere in another part of the world, and so you have a little artifact of some kind that you have on that altar that sort of inspires you. So when you sit down, you're like, oh, yeah, this is good. You're ready to meditate. You're ready to get still. It's good to keep the room a little bit cool rather than stuffy. And you can have like a little blanket or a shawl to keep you warm while you meditate. But having it a little cool gives you energy, keeps you awake, so that you can be still and quiet during that time. So it's good to have some ventilation, some cool air or something flowing in that room. Now, you want to pick a quiet part of the room, as quiet as you can, and earplugs come in very handy. You can go to your local drugstore and get some earplugs, or wear headphones. That helps to insulate you and keep the sound out. Now, as I've mentioned, you can meditate anywhere with practice, but it's good to, if you can use earplugs in your home, do so, because now you can really focus your attention and not get distracted by external sounds. Now, here's a couple of woo-woo ideas for you. The yogis of the Far East have told us that there are certain vibes that flow from the East. Some of you are familiar with feng shui, where you rearrange the house so that the energies are just right in your home. Well, it's similar, and they say that certain positive energies flow from the East that support your meditation. So what does that mean? Just like in feng shui, where you want the head of your bed pointing a certain direction, in meditation, you want, ideally, you're focusing east. If that works for the layout of your home, and usually it does. I've been doing this for many, many years, and I'm always able to manage it so that I'm facing in that ideal direction. And the yogis claim that there really is something to that energy. They also talk about energy that pulls from the earth as well. And so they recommend that you cover your meditation bench or your chair with some kind of natural fiber, like wool or silk, something that insulates you from the down-pulling energies of the earth. So why not? I figure, what the heck? And I do those things, even though I'm not sure that I can tell the difference, but I trust these great yogi sages like Paramahansa Yogananda and others who have said similar things. If I'm on a bus, I'm not going to be fanatic and go, oh, I can't meditate on the bus. I don't have my candle. I don't have my blanket. I'm not going to be bringing that stuff with me either, pulling it out of my backpack, setting up a candle no, of course not, right? You don't want to get mugged because you're trying to get peaceful and meditate. People think you're crazy. Anyway, so those things can help your meditation practice right there in your special sacred place. And that's what it becomes for you. You might do some spiritual reading there. You might do some journaling in that space, but you're not watching television. You're not reading the newspaper. You're meditating there. When you step into that space, everything in you says, this is what I'm here for. It's like going to a gym, right? That's one of the advantages of a gym. You go to a gym, everybody's working out, there's people are exercising, the music is crazy, and it's all to try to help you get in the mood of exercise. Same with meditation. You're creating your own vibe in your own space. All right? So now the question is, how long, Justin, should I meditate for? You've heard different things maybe about meditation. I say, as long as you feel joy, and a little longer. Okay, if you feel joy for 2 minutes, you're like, oh, I like relaxing my body. Oh, gotta go. Push yourself just a little bit longer, right? If you can meditate for 5 minutes with the feeling of joy, you're enjoying what you're doing, then push it to 6 minutes. Go a little bit longer, okay? We're not holding this big thing over your head of you gotta meditate 30 minutes twice a day. Hey, that's a good goal. That's a good direction to move into. But just like every goal, you got to work up to it. You start where you are. That's like if you want to, talking about the gym, if you want to lift heavier and heavier weights to build more and more muscle, you don't go right to the heaviest weight. No, you build up to it. You go slow. And with meditation, the ego does not like to meditate. Okay? The ego doesn't like to meditate. It wants to be busy. It wants to be in drama. It wants to be, run on adrenaline. It doesn't like to get still. But your soul loves to get still. Your soul loves that inner peace, that inner joy, that inner life. Other people who are very worldly, very restless, into everything else, they're like, man, that looks boring. Why do you want to just sit there and do nothing? Well, when you practice this a while, you're not doing nothing. You're drinking deeply. Jesus talked about the waters of spirit, right? The living waters. You're drinking of living waters inside of you, and it's very nurturing, it's very comforting, it's very enriching, and it's healing too. It's invigorating. So meditate as long as you feel joy, and go a little bit longer. Shoot for 5 minutes in the beginning, and then maybe 15 minutes twice a day. Work up to that, and as time goes on, you'll expand it, because you'll reach the point where you're like, it's like not brushing your teeth. You ever miss brushing your teeth sometimes? You got in a hurry or whatever, and you're like, oh, I didn't brush my teeth. Well, when you're daily meditating, when you miss it, it's like not brushing your teeth. You really feel it. You miss it. You miss it. So, how long to meditate? As long as you feel joy, a little longer. We talked about the 3 phases, so in that phase of concentration, you want to do that for whatever, a minute or 30 seconds, a minute or longer, up to you. And then the stillness, the expansion part, you want to double that. So if you concentrated for a minute, then sit in the quiet for 2 minutes. Try to really go deep in that. Okay? So that's how long. Now, a couple other tips for you is it's helpful to do 1 long meditation a week. Push your meditation time. If you've been doing 3 minutes every day, go for 6 once a week. Push yourself just a little bit once a week, okay? If you've been doing 15 minutes, try 25. Push yourself once a week if possible. And another great thing that's helpful is to meditate in a group once a week if you can. Because when you meditate in a group, you tune in to the vibes of other people who have been meditating longer than you. There's something about people coming together. Jesus said, where 2 or more are gathered in prayer, there am I in the midst of you. What does that mean? Well, it can mean that there is a buildup of consciousness. There's a focus of concentration that's very helpful. I've taught meditation, as I mentioned, to many, many people. And I've been asked over the time where people say, I seem to meditate much deeper in a group than I do by myself. Well, that's great, and that's probably why. Because all these people we're creating a vibe, a consciousness, like going to the gym, where that's what people are doing. And you're tuning in to people who've been meditating a long time, and it helps your meditation. So that's one of the reasons why. And so it's good to have a group meditation, but at the same time, you've got to learn to meditate on your own. I encourage those people, you got to develop the ability to be alone and meditate. Someone said that all the problems in the world, I think it was Blaise Pascal, said all the problems of the world because man's inability to sit alone in a room by himself, with himself. So that's what we're learning to do, to be alone in a room, to sit by ourselves, with ourselves, and to commune with the Spirit within us. Let me just see if I've anything else I wanted to share with you that, we've got a lot of stuff in here today. And you can begin your meditation with a prayer. You might want to do chanting, which helps to uplift the mind and the heart, if that's something that calls to you. And meditate with joy. You want to experience joy in meditation? You can't go into, meditation, I don't really like meditating, but I know it's good for me, so I'm going to meditate. No, that's not going to work. You got to do it with joy. You got to bring joy into it. Anticipation. You got to look, you got to anticipate what you're going to experience in meditation. Look forward to it. The Old Testament talks about, I have secrets that you don't know yet that I want to tell you. When you go into meditation, you're going into this amazing realm where you can learn things and experience things you've never experienced before. And so meditate with joy. And then it's important to have supportive environment, in your life. You want to be with people who are spiritually oriented. I'm not saying everybody, all your friends are spiritually oriented, but you want to have people that you're exposed to who are spiritually centered because it supports you. It's great to read inspirational stuff regularly to keep your mind uplifted. It's important to go on a retreat maybe or to be in places that support you spiritually. So, and if you're going to watch news, don't overindulge in it. I like to read the headlines. I read the headlines, I read occasional article, but to overindulge in the news, I don't think it's great. Know what's going on, but don't overindulge in it. Find positive sources to tune into, to surround yourself with. Okay? So, we've talked about the 3 phases of meditation: relaxation, sitting comfortably, concentration, and expansion. And then we gave you some tips for how to make meditation a habit. And I'll end with the most important one. And that is, as we started this, we said, why meditate? The most important one is, if you agree with the importance of meditation, then make a commitment. Make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do this. If it's only 30 seconds or a minute a day. A minute a day is infinitely better than once a week. Okay? Taking time every day builds momentum. It builds consciousness that's feeding your life on a daily basis. You don't want to wait until you're in a crisis and then you go, I need to meditate, because you will be out of practice. It'll be difficult for you because the emotions are going and you're worried and fearful. Yeah, meditate then, try to, but it's better to develop it every single day of your life. Remember, your life is a manifestation of consciousness. So start it out every day, end it with some time to connect with the source of your being. See, if I'd like you to think of someone in history who you really were inspired by. Maybe it's Gandhi, maybe it's Mother Teresa, maybe it's Walt Disney, or who knows who it is. Whoever that person is in your life, wouldn't it be great if you could meet with that person and really have a talk with them? Well, let's say you had a meeting with them every day. Every day, every morning, you had a meeting with that person. Would you miss it? Would there be some days where you'd wake up and you go like, I was up late last night. I don't think Gandhi will mind if I missed the meeting with him today. I think, I think that I'll miss talking with Mother Mary today, or whoever your inspiration is. I don't feel like going today. No, you wouldn't do that, would you? Every day you keep that appointment. Well, guess what? You have an appointment with the source of your being. You have an appointment with the creator of the universe at the center of your being. Keep that commitment. Make that commitment and keep that appointment. Doesn't mean if you miss your regular time, you can't get to it some other part of the day, but get to it. All right?